Hi, I'm Juliano Aniceto, conductor, and I'm here with...
Sarah Polinski, the vocalist for today.
And we are so excited to share a little bit of this work with you, a little bit of the background, a little bit of the making of how to make this process. We just finished recording 2 amazing arrangements by Richard Lake, and we are so happy to be part of this process. And we thought about sharing with you about how does that work. So we met this morning.
Just this morning, literally a few hours ago.
And we had our first conversation and with Richard Lake. For me, it was so important to walk into the room and just see your energy and see so much that you bring to the plate on top of music. I mean, the fact that you shared so much of yourself on the lyrics, on the music, and so much preparation takes a lot of trust, and I felt I could trust you perfectly the moment I saw you and the moment I rehearsed with you. So how is preparing this score for you?
Oh my gosh, it was such a joy, and walking into this room and meeting you, and I love the trust that you talked about. Like, we're both experts in what we do, and the way that you commanded the room as soon as you walked in, you had so much joy and energy. So the preparation for me was really based on the lyrics, and I love it. Really delves into different parts of this emotional spectrum, right? Like, jazz is not all happy, life is not all happy. Sometimes it's really, quote unquote, in the score, wretched, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes it's tragedy. And for me, meeting you and having that joy, and then having to turn that into something quite serious and vulnerable in these 2 charts was really, you have to trust each other, right?
Yes.
And you provided that safe space for me to create.
It was so much fun to work with you because you're saying about follow my lead, but at the same time, I think I was following your lead because everything in this kind of music really turns around the lyrics to what it means. And I think that's the importance of this music. Nowadays we see so much classical music in different areas, in video games, in jazz, and etc. And more artists are merging orchestral music and orchestra sound with pop artists. And we need to think that was always a thing. Beethoven was doing the same thing.
I think especially with this music, I love that the lyrics mean something different now. They were written decades ago, but the human experience and condition is all about feeling, right? And that doesn't change. And having assigning new experiences and memories to these lyrics that were written so long ago is the joy for me, because I get to think, okay, what experiences in my life have put me into these lyrics and really believe what I'm singing and what I'm saying. Especially with the lyrics, it's such a privilege for me to be able to sit down with this person who created this beautiful scene and say, well, what do you think? And to have his response, especially for you as a conductor, it's like, he's right here. We get to ask him these questions about his arrangement. And that's a very, very beautiful opportunity to have that safe space to create and go back and forth and collaborate.
And I think that's part of our job, is to convey the idea of the composer and bring that to life and let that touch the audience in the deepest way possible. And this is why we practice so much. This is why we do our profession, is to be able to be this kind of channel between the composer, the work, and the listener.
And so we have that background of technique, right? The thing for me that was very challenging about these arrangements that Richard made, he was very demanding in the vocal technicality of these pieces. So you'll find Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most is very chest voice heavy, very in the voice, very low, to convey that kind of haunting, tragic sound. But then in You Don't Know What Love Is, you'll hear that all of a sudden I need an A flat. Excuse me? So that's where the classical technique kicks in, because that's a whole different mechanism in the larynx, right? That's head voice. That's lifting up using totally different muscles in your larynx. So okay, sure, you're asking me to do this breadth of vocal technique that I felt very comfortable in because of my classical training.
I got in contact with classical music when I was 18. So until then, I'm from Brazil, and so then I was playing bossa nova and Brazilian folk songs, and for me, this is truly part of who I am. So this connection with the jazz, especially through bossa nova, is something that's very close to my heart. And when I got into classical music, I never had the desire to let it go. For me, this is part of who I am, and the swing, the balance, the texture, from the colors, for me, that's so important. And for me, this music is extremely relevant. We always think on giving value to the music of the 19th century, 18th century as classical musicians, 17th century sometimes. But truly, there is so much to be said about the music of this century that was made here, and that's not labeled classical, but at the same time, it has so much to say and so much connection.
So wonderful working with you. You're so easygoing, and you have this very genuine appreciation for the musicians in front of you, because you get it. You have that training. You're commanding presence, but it's also a very reciprocating ease that you have with musicians because you're one of them, right? You understand and you get it. So you know the language.
No, thank you so much. No, I think we are on the same boat, and I truly enjoyed working with you, and I can't wait for many more times
I
for
hope
collaboration
so.
together. So it's going to be great.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.